Thank you, Stephen. And I'm really pleased to be speaking about this subject because it's something I feel very passionate about. And so some of the things that I'm going to say concur with Brian, in some ways I disagree. But the first thing I wanted to say is that actual printing of books is a very tiny part of what we do as publishers. And when I was preparing this, I was trying to work out how many man-hours we actually spend as a business working on printing issues, how much we devote to planning print runs or managing our print inventory. And all my estimates came in at an extremely minuscule percentage. The vast majority of our time and resources as a business are already devoted to the production and the publication of books rather than the printing of them. And I think that's a crucial difference. Yes, printing, of course, forms a major part of our cost of sales. But from our experience to date, as ebooks cannibalize the physical book, we'll see shrinking print runs and so greater unit costs and increased expenditure on other aspects of our business to help service and protect our digital market. So although, in summary about that, although I don't know what the future holds, from the experiences we've had to date with ebooks, I don't believe we'll benefit financially from the partial transference of some readership from physical to digital. But sort of setting all that aside, what I wanted to do today was run through the things we do spend our time on and the things we're going to spend our time on that will get more important for us to stay relevant for authors and agents in the future. So I completely agree with Brian that curation is incredibly important. Any of you who've seen a slush pile know, or have looked across the web looking for unpublished novelists, it's absolutely daunting. There's a huge amount out there. It's quite depressing. A lot of it really is not stuff you would want to read. And speaking as a reader for a moment, the last thing I would want to do, and I have tried to do this, is sift for the jewels myself amongst all that content, or even sift for the things that I think are jewels that other people might not. I want to be guided in some way. And as I see it, the role of the curator is part of all artistic endeavours, as in the visual arts museums and art galleries curate content. So I see the publisher's equivalent as sorting the wheat from the chaff. And in terms of what we're already doing about this, at Little Brown, we have more editorial staff than we've ever had at any point in our history. So this is something we take very, very seriously, both in terms of commissioning new books and also working on the books we have, which sort of leads on in terms of what Brian was saying to the actual role of the editor. A good editor, I think, can work with an author and help them to realise the greater potential of their work. They can help an author transform a good book into a great one, a flawed book into a masterpiece. And from the way Ezra Pound edited T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland to the way Gordon Lish worked with Raymond Carver to develop his aesthetic, an editor's role can be fundamental in an author's career. Slightly highbrow examples, but I think it goes all the way down. As Joan Didion says in her essay about her late editor, Henry Robbins, what editors do for writers is mysterious and does not, contrary to general belief, have much to do with titles and sentences and changes. The relationship between an editor and writer is much subtler and deeper than that. For us as publishers, I see it as essential for us to invest in the very best editorial talent if we are to remain relevant in the digital age. More than ever before, the role of the editor is going to provide the absolute crucial link of us being of continuing value to authors and their agents. And it's obviously for all of the reasons of making a book better, but also to do with that more mysterious bond that Joan Didion alludes to, the emotional allegiance an editor has to his or her author, the way they can be that crucial and trusted first read for an author, the person who more than anything else, and anyone else, helps an author believe in his or herself. Then there's publicity. If the book world does not know of a book, they're not going to buy it. And some of the most spectacular and unexpected publishing success stories I've witnessed in my career have been due to the brilliant work of an individual publicist. They have one of the toughest and often underappreciated roles in the publishing business, and it's one that's only going to get more important in the digital age. And again, publicity is an area of the business that we're investing in. Authors can sell their books direct, fine, but unless they want to publicize it themselves or hire an independent publicist, which is not cheap, if anyone's tried to do that will know, no one would know about it without that role of the publicist. And to agree with Brian, again, another key role I think we can absolutely play is about marketing, and specifically digital marketing. And again, from what I see in Little Brown and in other companies, we are all investing in talent, particularly talent outside the publishing industry. I think that is important as well, for us to look beyond the publishing industry for marketing talent, for people who know the digital world and can help us bring our books into it. And it's also my belief that the very best form of marketing is cover design. And publishers, I think it's fair to say, have some of the best design departments of any of the creative industries. And we have design departments that can create covers that get people's attention and make them want to read a book. You know, that how many times are there books that succeed, you know, largely because the cover is so spectacular that people just want to pick it up. Covers that communicate a book's specialness. And as with the publicity, just because a book is special, it doesn't mean people will notice it. It needs a cover that communicates that. And from my experience, again, I've seen some wonderful self-published novels completely fail because their covers and their marketing and publicity don't communicate to the public. And I've seen those books, when they're published by a publisher, then succeed extremely well because those elements are in place. And then there's the role of the sales department. They sell many thousands of titles. They have relationships with retailers and digital aggregators, and they're skilled negotiators. These negotiation skills, at least in the world of physical books, which I do not believe are going to become obsolete, are of benefit not only to us, but to our authors and agents too, financially. So in a digital world, I think the way we bring books to the marketplace will be as crucial as ever, and will remain of as much, if not more, value to authors and agents. And then beyond that, beyond the actual production of the book, there's our role as publishers in helping people realise how transformative the act of reading can be, and to lobby on behalf of books and reading. And I think, as World Book Night showed, we as publishers are wholly committed to marketing the act of reading to consumers. And not to blow our own trumpets too much, I think we can be really good at it. And I believe one of the main threats to the industry comes from the proliferation of different forms of entertainment and information, the internet, computer games, apps, all of that stuff. So for authors, I feel that having a vibrant and healthy publishing industry that can use its resources and clout to both convert new readers and provide a powerful political lobby is going to be more crucial than ever before. And I think that as publishers, we're devoting more time and resources to it every year, and I would expect that it will become a major focus for the industry in the next 3 years. And I couldn't really finish off without talking about piracy, because I think this is one of the areas in which publishers should and can most demonstrate their worth in the digital age. It's an enormous and extremely worrying problem for all authors, publishers, and agents. There are hundreds and hundreds of websites featuring pirated books appearing every day. The British publishing industry has already spent tens of millions of pounds combating piracy. And in the Publishers Association piracy portal, it has a very effective safeguard in place. But as digital piracy increases in sophistication, so we are having to step up our resources to combat it. So as we move forward, my feeling is, and I'm speaking for myself rather than anyone at Hachette, money spent on print and paper will be spent on software programs and teams of specialists who can fight the pirates. And because of our economies of scale, on a business level, we can justify this expenditure given the many thousands of titles we publish. Unless an individual author, unless Barry Eisler has vast financial resources to make this sort of investment possible, I don't see how an individual author is going to be able to combat piracy in the same way that a publisher can. So I feel it's an absolutely crucial task for us and a crucial way we can be of value to authors. So in conclusion, for all the reasons I've outlined, curation, editing, publicity, marketing, design, retailer relations, the promotion of the act of reading itself, lobbying and combating piracy, I fully believe that publishers will remain as vital to authors as they have ever been before.